Hey there folks, it's Blue here at Blue Bears Games, and for today's video, I will be showing you the second of the 3 brand new budget Battle Brew 60 card precons that I have available for sale on the Blue Bears Games Facebook page. The name that I gave today's budget brew is Heavy Metal, and is a mono white build based around the theme of artifacts, specifically equipment, and creatures that benefit from artifacts either being in play or by being equipped. This type of theme is typically used in the Commander format as a Voltron build, but it's a little different when this strategy is used in a non-singleton format that doesn't have Commander damage as an alternative win con. It's still a viable strategy to use in 60 card play, so why don't I just show you what I put together, starting with the creatures. So the creatures in this deck all have a commonality, a common trait. They all benefit from either artifacts in general or from equipment being in play or equipped to them. So I'll show you what I got here for you, and you'll see what I mean. The one drop is called Kite Sail Apprentice. It is a 1 to cast 1/1 that, as long as it's equipped, it gets +1/+1 in flying. So if it gets equipped, it's now a 2/2 flyer plus whatever the equipment does. So that's what I mean. They gain benefit from either artifacts or from being equipped. So that one just happens to be because of being equipped. This one has Metalcraft, which is to say that as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, it gets something. So this is the 2 drop. It is a 2 to cast 1/1 that it has Metalcraft, and the Metalcraft will give it +2/+2 in flying, which is really good because then that means that if it's equipped, it gets an even bigger buff. So it's already going to be a 3/3 flyer in this deck, plus whatever the equipment that's on it will buff it to. So I got 4 of them in there. Ariok Edgewright is a 2 to cast 2/2 with Metalcraft that says that if you have 3 or more artifacts in play, it gains Double Strike. And Double Strike is really nice because it does first strike damage, and then it does additional damage on the second part of the phase. So it can be really big and hit really hard. Got 2 of them in there. I got Etched Oracle in here. It is a 3 to cast artifact creature itself, so it will also count towards Metalcraft. That is a 2/2 with Metalcraft itself that says it has protection from all colors as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. So one of the things people don't realize is that if it has protection from all colors, it cannot be blocked by anything that has color in it. It can be blocked by artifact creatures or colorless creatures, but it cannot be blocked by anything that is a color. Sky Hunter Cub is a 3 drop. It is a 2/2 that if it's equipped, it gets +1/+1 and flying. So it can become a 3/3 flyer for 3, plus whatever the equipment that's attached to it gives it. For them, Militant Inquisitor, another 3 drop. It is a 2/3 that it gets +1/+0 for each equipment you control. Doesn't have to be attached to the Inquisitor. It just has to be in play on your side, and you have to control it. So it could be a 2/3, and then you could have 2 equipment attached to things that require it to be equipped to them, and he'll still get the benefit. I got 4 of them in there, and the last creature in the deck is Indomitable Archangel. It is a 4 to cast 4/4 flyer with Metalcraft that says artifacts you control have Shroud as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, which means that all of your artifacts now can't be targeted by anything. They can be equipped. That's not targeting anything. You're targeting the creature with the equip. So it protects all of your artifacts. That includes the artifact creature that's in here as well. The only problem with that is that you cannot equip that creature if Indomitable Archangel is in play. So keep that in mind. As far as the non-creatures go, again, more utility stuff here, like I like to do. It's all artifacts. Every single card here is an artifact and does something that you need that's helpful. I chose as many cheap to cast and equip equipments as I possibly could find, because you just want to be able to attach them to your creatures and then attack as often and as quickly as possible. So start off with a Honed, Khopesh. It's a 1 to cast artifact. It's an equipment that equips for 1 and gives the creature +1/+1. I got 4 of them, and then same thing with the Short Sword. It's the same thing. It's 1 to cast, 1 to equip, and gives the equipped creature +1/+1. Again, I wanted to have as many cheap ones that give a buff as possible, so you can start attacking with bigger and bigger creatures as quickly as possible. The rare equipment that I included in here was Bloodforged Battle Axe. It's 1 to cast and 2 to equip. The equipped creature gets +2/+0, and then whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you create a token that's a copy of the Bloodforged Battle Axe. So putting more equipment in play, putting more artifacts in play, helping you keep Metalcraft for longer and not losing it. Sedgwick Mask, it is a 1 white to cast artifact equipment. It equips for 2, and the equipped creature gets +1/+1. However, the equipped creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. So now they can chump block all day, but your creature is probably going to be bigger because of the way that I have this deck set up. So then they're chump blocking and then losing all their little guys. Possibly, or they're not able to be blocked by bigger guys so they can get through if your opponent's playing nothing but big creatures. It's really good synergy here. For them, Maul of the Skyclaves, it is another white equipment artifact. It's 3 to cast. When it enters the battlefield, you can attach it to a creature you control right away. You don't have to pay the equip cost. It gives the creature +2/+2 and flying and first strike. So really good stuff, especially if you're equipping it to somebody that gets a buff for being equipped as it is. Now it's getting an even bigger buff. The equip cost, however, is 4 to equip, but hopefully you only equip it to 1 creature for free, and then you can win that way. My removal is usually in the form of control enchantments that basically are prison effects. There are a couple that were artifacts, so I went with that because I wanted to keep the Metalcraft going. So I start with Portable Hole. It's 1 to cast, and when it enters the battlefield, you exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls with a mana value of 2 or less until Portable Hole leaves the battlefield. So you can put in prison all the little chump blockers that the Sedgwick, what is the name of that thing? What was it? The Sedgwick, or Hedgewick's mask is on. You can get rid of the little guys, and then the guy who's equipped with Hedgewick mask can just get through. I got 2 of them, and I have 4 glass caskets in here. Another artifact that's a prison style effect, kind of like the prison enchants. It's 2 to cast. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target creature and opponent controls with convert a mana cost 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. So again, it gets rid of all those small guys. So if your opponent's only playing small stuff, both of these will be beneficial. As far as the lands go, just like last week, this is pretty simple. I have in here 2 Idyllic Granges. They are planes, which is kind of nice, but they come into play tapped unless you control 3 or more other planes. And in this deck, I mean, in the beginning of the game, sure, they'll come into play tapped, but later on it won't matter. But when they come into play untapped, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, buffing your guys even further. So I put 2 of them in there because I don't want you to grab these too early and they come into play tapped. And then the rest is just basic planes. It's either 18 or 20. Again, I can't remember the exact amount, but I'll have the deck list in the description of the video so you can take a look. Now, let me show you a couple of cards you can swap in to improve how this deck plays. Just like last week, on the creature side, the 1-drop is as good as it's going to get for now. But for the 2-drop, you could swap out the Auriok Sunchasers for Pure Steel Paladins. While the Paladin doesn't directly benefit from artifacts in play or being equipped, it does benefit you greatly by providing much needed card draw and possibly by reducing all equip costs to 0 if you have Metalcraft. Also in the 2-drop slot, I currently have 2 Auriok Edgewrights, which could be swapped out for 2 Stoneforge Mystics. By now you know I'm a budget guy, and I don't like to suggest cards that are $20, but some people aren't as restricted by budget as I am, so if you feel like they can help enough to justify the price tag, I say go for it. Especially since there are some really good equipment out there that you can swap in that I'll show you in just a little bit that can really be game-changing. For the 3-drop, I really like Etched Champion, so I would swap out 3 of the Militant Inquisitors for 3 more of the Champions. The protection from all colors makes it unblockable if your opponent doesn't have any artifact or colorless creatures, and also nullifies a huge amount of removal that could be used against it. This is where you will get the feel of that Voltron style that you get from the Commander format. Just load it up and let them swing freely. The 4-drop creatures that you could swap in that would be highly beneficial to a deck with this strategy are more than I expected. If you take out the Skyhunter Cubs, Indomitable Archangel, and Extra Militant Inquisitor, that gives you 6 spots open to replace with any combination of the following creatures, depending on your budget and direction you want to take the build. So, let's take a look at a couple of these options. Armored Skyhunter will allow you to dig for equipment, put 1 into play, and even attach it to a creature for you for free. Balin Wandering Knight benefits highly from being equipped, and its recent reprint has dropped the price a lot. Sadly, I wasn't able to afford any Commander Masters products, so I couldn't add it to the deck. Halvar God of Battle gives all equipped creatures double strike, and can move your equipment around for you for free, and 1 or 2 of these will be a great addition to the deck. Loxodon Punisher is the one card that fits the strategy of this deck the most, since it just gets bigger and bigger the more equipment cards that are attached to it. It doesn't have any evasion like Etched Oracle, but it could get ridiculously big really quick if not kept in check. And the last creature card I'll mention is Zamriel, Seraph of Steel. Zamriel will make all of your equipped creatures indestructible during your turn, so you can attack with Reckless Abandon if that's the way you like to play. Now let's look at some non-creature stuff that would improve this deck, particularly the equipment. The equipment that I chose for this deck was a conscious budget decision. They are all budget friendly, cheap to cast, and cheap to equip, but they aren't very exciting. Swapping out the 3 I have here wouldn't be a bad thing, but could certainly hurt your wallet. There are a lot of equipment in the game that could be very beneficial to this strategy, but I'll only mention the Cycle of Swords since they seem to be the most useful equipment in the game right now. They each have different benefits, but the most useful ones are also the most expensive monetarily. And the last part of this small guide is about the lands. The only thing I can see changing is simply to swap 4 plains out for 4 ancient dens. This deck doesn't care about whether or not your lands are basic plains, and the dens come into play untapped so you don't lose any speed with them. They count as artifacts, so they can help you get Metalcraft for basically free, and monetarily they aren't too expensive, so it's a win-win to make this swap. I just don't currently have any in stock, or else I would have added them myself. And there you have it, folks, my newly added 60-card Budget Battle Brew Heavy Metal, complete with a small upgrade guide. This deck is a fun little combat-based deck that uses a strategy more seen in Commander, but who says you can't import useful ideas over from other formats? The only other deck I can think of that's similar to this type of deck for 60 card is called Caw-Blade, but that deck strategy plays a little differently while still being similar to this build. This was the second of the 3 new Budget Battle Brew decks that I'll now be offering going forward. Next week, I'll go over the third and final deck that I came up with for this round of new and original Budget Battle Brews. That one is a deck that uses the landfall mechanic in a way I don't think I've ever seen done before, so join me next Friday to see what I did differently to utilize one of my favorite mechanics in the game. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or concerns, or you just want to talk about any of the videos I put out, you can do so using any of the methods I have displayed here. Additionally, if you would like to support the channel, you can do so in 3 ways. Donations are accepted and greatly appreciated. I have 3 methods with which you can do so displayed on the screen, and keep in mind that no amount is too small. If donations aren't your thing, and you would like to get something for your money, that's great too. I sell a lot of the decks I present on the channel, as well as mystery packs. So, if you're interested in any of these, you can contact me using the information I have on your screen right now. Directly contacting me is usually the best and cheapest way to do so, but you can always look at what I currently have available on the Facebook Marketplace. And lastly, if you want to show your love and support for the channel, but like myself, are a little strapped for cash, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, watch some videos and give them a like, and possibly share them out on your social medias you use to help spread my content to more people. No matter what way you choose is greatly appreciated and will help support the channel, and I thank you for it. Sadly, that is all the time I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and please, stick around and watch some of the many great videos I've posted over the last few years, and remember to check back again for new content I'll be posting every week. Have a great day.